Well, hey there, my friend. Welcome back to the show. My name is Deanna Yates, and you are listening to episode 287 of the Wannabe Clutter-Free podcast. On today's episode, I am chatting with Jena Lorén, a sought-after consciousness architect and emotional scientist. She helps ambitious women discover their profitable consciousness and accelerate their wealth, desired lifestyle, and success from alignment, not ego. Using her 7-step framework called the detachment method, she helps many clients clear their energetics and paradigms that block their desires and hold them hostage in procrastination, limitation, proving, and playing small. So, what does that mean for us today? Well, we're looking at how your ego affects how you declutter and clear not only the physical stuff, but the emotional, mental, and relational clutter from your home and your life. If you're a more practical person, stick around because we give you actual tangible steps that you can take to start living fully into the life that you have been desiring. So Jena considers herself a minimalist and her story is super interesting. So I think you're going to love it and you're going to get a lot from our conversation. Even if you don't consider yourself a minimalist like me, it's always interesting to see how stuff plays a role in who we are and how that shows up in our energy, in our homes, and in our lives. But a quick thank you to you, of course, for joining me and Jena today. If you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure you follow the show and leave a quick rating. It helps others discover Want to Be Clutter-Free and keeps the helpful conversations coming your way. All right, let's jump into my chat with Jena. Well, hello, Jena. Welcome to Want to Be Clutter-Free. How you doing today?
I'm amazing. Thank you for having me. I'm excited. This is going to be a fun conversation.
It's going to be a fun conversation. It's going to be a little bit different, I think, than some of the other conversations, but we're still looking at decluttering. We're still looking at the stuff in your homes, but it's more from an energy perspective and what the stuff in our homes. I mean, everything has energy, as you say. And so we're just going to look at it from that angle. So I'm really excited. But before we jump in and before I get ahead of myself, can you introduce yourself and tell listeners who
Yes.
you are and what you do?
Yes. I've had so many titles over the years, but here we go. So they call me the consciousness architect. And I think it's really about helping people fundamentally design their lives from a place of essence and not ego. And what that means is I really love helping people break the unseen patterns and hear behind their words and understanding the emotional knots that are actually driving our behavior. So I love human psychology and manifestation and being able to understand the power that we have to actually create our experience of life, which is what then generates our reality. So I just believe that we have so much power, and I came from a life where I was very much victim of my circumstances, but there was a piece of me that was like, there's got to be something more. There's more. And so I've been on a journey really since 18, if not earlier than that, but 18 years old, I really started diving into like how to save myself first.
Mm,
And more importantly, it's led me to where I am today, where I have the gift of being able to break through people's blocks and plateaus and up level their next experience of life that I know we all deserve, whether it's, more joy, more love, more self-love, right? Less self-abandonment. I believe everything kind of distills down to the only two things that really create the suffering is attachment and self-abandonment.
mm.
And if I can help anyone break that pattern, I'm doing the right thing. So,
Oh,
yeah. So
ooh,
that's what
like
I'm
I, s-
doing.
like I said, everyone, this one's going to be juicy. So I
Juicy.
think it's going to be really a really good conversation for people that are listening. And especially this time of year as we go into the holidays, I think
Mhm.
everything is just so much more emotional. Um, and it's just more of a reflection of I think we all kind of pause a little bit and reflect on our lives. And so let's talk about that a little bit. Like you talk about how personal energy shows up in our homes. And so, yeah, how does that work? Like what do you mean when you say that our personal energy shows up in our homes?
So very good. So my philosophy is that, and just what I've learned over time is that everything is energy. So whether it's us or the things that we have, and the stuff, right? The stuff around us, the people, the stuff, the experiences, everything is energetic in some way. And so therefore we're connected to it. And I believe our thoughts are energy, meaning, it's a perspective. So if we are holding a perspective, and a lot of times it's unconscious, like we're
Mm.
unconsciously programmed. We have a lot of conditioning. We have a lot of programming that we just adopted as children and kind of bring it into our adult life. And here we go, right? And I want to give back the power to who it belongs to, which is not the things in our world, whether it's stuff in our space or it's people in our world. It's we have the power to make the meaning. So energetically, I think a lot of it comes down to the meanings we give things, right? So the
Mm.
meanings we not only give ourselves, like how do we talk to ourselves? Like, what are we saying? And then believing, and therefore representing in our space. And so if you give a meaning to something, like I'm holding my phone, right? Like if I give a really important meaning, and importance level, I think is also very important here. um, is that when we give it a meaning that has a high level of importance, that attachment goes up, right?
Mm.
So the
Mhm.
level of that attachment. And so when we're in our spaces and we have sentimental meaning, like a lot of people get that, right? And or they're just not able to let go of something, or they're not able to manage the things in their space, then energetically it does have an imprint. It has an impact on us physically,
Mm.
mentally, emotionally, spiritually. That's kind of how those are like the five energy buckets I look at. Did I say five? There should be five.
There's
Physical,
Yeah,
mental, emotional, spiritual. Oh, and relational. I did forget one.
there it is. Yeah.
Relational. So relational can be the people in our life, but it can be relational to self as well. And
Mm.
when those buckets are depleting, which we are depleting. We're moms, we're business owners, we're working for the boss, like whatever it is, we're depleting those energy buckets every day. And I believe stuff and things and items and energy buckets. So we're either going to deplete them or we're going to fill them up. And I think we have to be intentional about filling them up. Like they're supposed to be, they're like a gem. We use them, but we need to go to the and fill those up. But if we have spaces, whether it's stuff that's incomplete, like broken items, right?
Mm.
That's a energy leak in my book, right? It's kind of like, oh, I need to fix the cabinet. It keeps falling off. Yes, we really do. And part of it's mental energy. You keep thinking
Totally.
about it. So there's another leak, right? So whether in all of those energy leaks, whether it's the stuff that doesn't work anymore, that doesn't align with our future self, that's a leak.
Mm.
So I don't know if any another intro for me. I went nomadic 2 years ago when we recorded
Mm.
this. And I uncoupled and I empty nested all in the same month after
Mm.
like 22 years, right?
Wow.
And I made a really clear decision that I do not want to um like rent another house and move all my stuff into it, right? I was like, I want to like really explore another level of freedom. Well, that also meant I had to purge 80% of my stuff, right? And so I put a
Yeah.
lot in a 5x7. I put everything I owned in a 5x7 storage unit, but I purged first, right? I was like, get rid of, get rid of, get rid of. And the question I kept asking myself is, in order to let go, right? Is does this align with my future self? Does this match the frequency and the vibration that I'm moving into? Not where I've been, because
Mm.
holy cow, I'm letting
Right.
go of a whole lot of identity and a whole lot of experiences and relationships. And now it's time to like step into a whole new version of Jenna. And so I was like asking that question. And I think we should ask that question more frequently. And not just get in the stagnation and the or the ho hum of everyday living, and being in our environments where they kind of represent an old version of us, and we aren't taking inventory and going, is this aligned with my new version? Is this aligned where I'm going? And so I had that exercise, which was really powerful. And then the rest of it I was able to fit in a small like car, and I traveled all over the country. So my life has literally been in a carload. That's it. And because everything else is in storage. And then this summer, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I did another purge. I got everything out of that 5x7, and then I shrunk it even more into 10, like 2x3 boxes. You can go buy them at Costco. And
Yeah.
my whole
Wow.
life now lives in like 10 boxes at a storage facility and my car. And
Wow.
holy cow, if it doesn't feel liberating. It
Hmm.
was a little, I mean, it is like your nervous system's calibrated to the environment you're in and the stuff that you
Yeah.
have. And it's
Yeah.
either feeling really good or it feels heavy. And I think that's what's important is to like
Mm.
take that inventory, check your energy, check the tanks, are they could depleted or full? And am I depleting it unnecessarily with the items in my home or the clutter or the things around me that just no longer align, the clothes that don't fit, the trinkets that are just a part of an old identity. And I can see this. I've worked with clients that for all intents purposes we call it hoarding. and
Yeah.
uh and I've literally worked through some of this, the psychology and the emotional part, because it's an emotional attachment. And a lot of times you might go back to childhood and go, well, how was I raised? What environment
Mm.
was normalized for me? Right?
Yeah.
And I know for me, I was normalized in a very organized space. My mom was really organized and clean about things, and she was an artist, so she was like really good at balancing and displaying things. But there was a little bit of stuff, right? Like there was definitely things on the shelf, but everything was really
Yeah.
organized. And then my dad was a minimalist. He's like, oh, I don't need anything but a towel and a sheet, like
Yeah.
he was a minimalist. So I actually blended the two. But I think what's important to actually interject as well is that after a really hardship childhood for me and turbulent, I moved 10 times before I was 15. And so there was
Wow.
just like chaos and like moving again and moving again. And it wasn't from like, oh, I'm nomadic. No, by
Right.
choice. It was like evictions and we have to leave now kind of thing.
Mm.
So it was very disruptive. I
Yeah.
actually turned my neatness and a little OCD into my control mechanism. So
Hmm.
I actually, it came
Interesting.
from ego and safety and preservation instead of preference. And I want people to start choosing their environments from consciousness and awareness and preference versus
Mm.
defaulting to a program, defaulting to the survival or defaulting to um, like this is how I was raised. Well,
Yeah.
first of all, we get to choose. We get to choose how we navigate adulthood, right? And we
Yeah.
also get to choose how we raise our children and families. Like,
Right.
what do we want to normalize, right? Do we want to normalize the chaos of our environment and stuff or not? And it's fine. There's no judgment. Like one or the other. Just decide who you are.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling a lot of people that come to you are like, I don't want the clutter anymore.
Totally. Well,
Right?
there's a couple of things you said there. One, I want to point out, when we've chatted before, I didn't actually share this with you, but we also at one point in our life got rid of everything and only had one of those pods, one of those 5x8 pods or 5x7
Yes.
pods. So we have
Wow.
also done that. And now we're more suburban. Our daughter's older. We have a very quote unquote normal kind of life. So we do share that in common, but it is interesting to realize you don't actually need all that stuff.
Right.
And
It taught me
it's
that.
very scary, I think, when you first start. And
Yes.
you were talking about living from a place of empowerment instead of fear. And how do we help people get over that moment of, but what if? Or just in case, right? Taking out that like past, like instead of living in the past, because to me, that's kind of what that what if is for. Like, I can't let go of this because maybe I will need it or I've needed it before. And shifting it into who do I want to be? How do I want to live? So let's talk about that real quick.
Okay, very good. 3-second mindset shift, right? Let's do the 3 second. So all it is a shift in perspective. Remember, we perceive, we make meaning, and then we add the importance. So
Hmm.
it's pause and reflect and then respond to it. So one is instead of or instead of assuming the question or the situation is a what if, like what if I need this, is trusting and saying if I need this, it will show itself again.
Mm,
If I need this, it will come back. It will come back into my life. I will buy it again. Like if I really need this, I will come back because what if I need this is scarcity. What if I
mhm.
need, what if I might need this is a sense of I'm not enough. I don't have enough. I won't have enough. I'm coming from a place of lack and scarcity. And what if this isn't? And that is a coping mechanism for sure of holding on in case of. That is the realist archetype. It's like, well, this is very logical. I might need this in 3 years. It's
Yeah.
and we like to bundle it under practicality, and I'm like, "No, no, that's a coping mechanism, guys," because I'm really good at it. I'm a
Mm,
realist, and so yeah, so it's really asking the right question to shift the perspective to I have abundance. I am
mm,
abundance. So everything, if we start to believe that we are the infinite supply of everything, including all the energy and all of the resources and all of the things that we need and might need, then we don't have to hold on to it because it will come back. Or we'll buy it. And like you and me, we've gotten rid of most of our things. It's like, how many times have we actually really needed something? And if we did, we
yeah.
just went and got it again, or somebody gave it to us, right?
Right.
Like it shows back up. And
Very
and
true.
again, that's our ego playing a trick on us that says, like I'm not safe if I let this go. I'm not safe. And so I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to hoard it. It's like same thing in your bank account. Well, what if I
Yeah.
need this? Like, do you believe that money is circulation? Do you believe that our things are circulation? And the other thing, when I start donating and I give away or sell, right? I actually bless it and release and be like, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna bless somebody else now." And
Yeah.
circulate and circulate and circulate because then when you're in circulation versus stagnation, the circulation will actually give you more abundance. So you're gonna probably end up with more stuff if you start to just kind of let go of the things that really don't align with who you are and where you're going. And so hopefully that kind of gives a new perspective. But it's just that simple one question, 3 seconds.
Love that.
And just trusting that it'll come back. If I need this, it'll come back. Bless
If I
and
need
release.
this, it'll come back. Oh, I love
Yep.
that. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk about that term circulation. That's a
Okay.
fun one. I want to get into that. All right, we'll be right
Yeah.
back. Welcome back. Before we took that break, we were going to talk about the term circulation. And I find that so fascinating because I think a lot of us think about that when it comes to money, but you also said with stuff. And so, do you have any examples of how you've seen that happen in your life?
Truly, I think as I mean, I let things go. Or I donate them I'm very intentional about like when I take that action, what energy I'm coming from. Right? Am I coming from scarcity and like, oh, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm dropping off a hundred
Yeah.
thousand things at the Goodwill, or am I coming from like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I get to reciprocate and like give back all the blessings that I've gotten, right? And
Huge difference.
huge difference, huge, and you just feel different, right? You
Yeah.
feel different. And so I mean, truly the blessings and the gifts and the reciprocation. Oh, and so what's coming up for me actually right now is what I'm hearing the collective that's listening is there's an underbelly that is not safe to receive.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, so this is good. So one of the things that I think circulation requires is an awareness of whether or not you feel safe enough to actually receive the circulation back. So if you're a giver and if you're a doer for everyone else, if you're like a people pleaser or you're like I'm going to just do, if you're coming from an unconscious, pattern like that, then circulation probably feels really scary. And then you go back into the holding and the hoarding or the like hold on for dear life because you're not trusting that if it's like you control your giving, but you don't always know if you're going to get back. And so that's what I just heard is that if you're not comfortable receiving, and the reason I'm saying this is because I used to be that. I created the like, I need to take care of myself. Nobody else will. I have to take care of everyone else because nobody else will. I have to be the one to do the doing and make the money, and like, it was a belief system, and it was
Mm,
this pattern and programming that I created, and I can pinpoint like 8 years old when it all kind of like solidified. And so coming from that, it's been a practice, and it's just recent where I actually feel really comfortable allowing people to give to me, or things showing up, and I don't have to exchange money for it, or I don't have to exchange my time for it. What if me and my energy and my gifts to the world is enough as an exchange? Like, that was very uncomfortable for me most of my life. And that is what I'm hearing, is like behind the lack of circulation is actually the inability to receive. And because circulation is, you got to be on the other side of it. If you're going to push it out and give things away. And what if you're one of those, like, maybe you get a lot of egoic validation by donating all the time,
mm,
right? Like, oh, I put a bucket together and my kids' stuff, and we're donating, and you feel really good. But what I want to caution is that's just the dopamine hit. That's actually not the safety loop. And so we want to get everybody into a safety loop that says, I can circulate because I trust the abundance of this world, and that my energy to receive and my value in the world is completely sufficient to allow everyone to give to me, and I feel safe in it. And it's funny because I just celebrated my birthday this weekend, and I'm sitting at the table, and they like take the bill, and they're like, "We're going to split this and take care of you." And I had to sit in it. I did have to sit in it because I'm like, "Ooh, my old pattern wants to come up." My old pattern
mm.
wants to come up and be like, "Oh, I'll contribute. I'll give, I'll pay for myself." Right? And I just sat there, and I could feel the old chatter of the ego coming in, and I was like, "No, just receive. It's okay to receive. I give myself all the time. I give, I'm a, like, advice giver, clearly, coaching all the time. I'm always giving of something, right? And I love that. I love doing that. And that's the dopamine hit that, if you're not cautious of it, right? If you're not careful, and then it's like being safe in the entire circle of like, give, not to get, but give to give, and to allow and to circulate, and then you get back and you receive. And I think that's the breakdown. And if we're not aware. And so,
Interesting.
yeah, I just sat in the
Yeah.
receive this weekend, and I was
Love
like,
that.
so we're circulating stuff out of our house, we're circulating our gifts and our services, or what we do in the world. And then, are you able to receive back? Because I think that also has something to do with not able to let go of things in our room. Right?
Mm.
It's like, if you don't trust that it's gonna
Yeah.
come back, then, and but it's not even trusting it's coming back, it's also allowing it to be received at the same breath. Because if
Right.
those 2 don't happen, then you're like a cog in the wheel, right? It breaks
Mm-hmm.
down. So,
I
yeah.
can feel that.
Mm,
Yeah.
I can
I
feel
can
that.
feel that. And in myself, I feel it coming in. I don't ask for help. I'm not very good at asking for help. And so that's something I've been having to work on.
Same thing.
Um, yeah. And also, just as people are listening, it's not necessarily that exact same thing's going to come back, but the thing you need at the
Right.
time is going to come back to you. So let
100%.
go of the things you don't need because it will free you up to be
Mhm.
open to get the things you need to align with that future life, the person you want to be, the things you want to be doing,
Yes.
how you want to show up in your life, in your job, as I call them my 3 Ps, as the person, the partner, and the parent you want to be.
Amen.
Um, yeah. And so how do we want to do that? And if we just keep the stuff around us, like you said, we're going to be stagnant. We're not going to be able to grow. We're going to be just kind of bogged down. It's like your feet are stuck in mud and you can't move forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the
Yeah, for
stagnation.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
Awesome. There's okay, so another thing I know a lot of women who listen to the show um suffer from procrastination.
Mm.
We procrastinate, we want a peaceful home, we want a calm home, but it feels too overwhelming, it feels emotional. From your perspective, what is the true root of that procrastination?
Yeah. So procrastination definitely is what I call an ego deflection, right? So
Mm.
there's like I have these ego tricks, and we fall into. I know you took the quiz, so everybody
Yes,
can
we're
get
gonna
the
talk about
quiz.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these ego tricks fall into these archetypes, right? And just kind of gives you a sense of like where your ego goes when it needs to feel safe and, control. And procrastination is just more of the deflection of the ego because it's
Mm.
still trying to manage and navigate an experience or avoid one. So a lot of times I think we procrastinate because then we add in like you said, I love the word, overwhelm, right? Which for
Mhm.
me simply means overwhelm is not who we are, it's a state of being. It's a temporary state of being. And so it's just like any emotion. So it's just kind of on the lower vibe of the vibe scale of the emotional scale, right? And so overwhelm, for me it can be very quick to resolve, and it's really just to stop and acknowledge that you're in it. Like, oh, I'm in overwhelm. Like I can feel the flush of like, oh my god, everything at once, right?
Mhm.
And the mind is really just has a limited capacity to manage something all at once, but our energy field, like who we are, can is infinite. We can handle all of it, but our human self is like there's a limitation. So we just need to break it down. I always say just take overwhelm, acknowledge that you're in it, take a breath, like physically, because it is a physical
Mm.
reaction also, and just take a breath, get back into your body, out of your head, because your head's trying to over process. It's like the RAM on your computer that's got too much going on, everything's running in the background, and then it's overwhelmed. And so the
Mm.
what happens to the computer?
Slows
It
down.
slows down, it like freezes, the ball spins, whatever. Yeah, that's us,
It
right?
breaks down.
It
Yeah.
breaks down, we have to go throw it in the trash and get a new one. No, that's a little extreme. But that's the idea, right, of the
Yeah.
overwhelm. And in the same breath, like procrastination and overwhelm play together very easily,
Mm.
right?
Right.
So the
Yeah.
root of that usually is procrastination typically is, and I always just kind of make it simple, is like there's something I don't want to experience. There's
Mm.
something I don't either want to do that then is uncomfortable or that then feels like heavy or feels cumbersome or feels like whatever. Or there's something in me that doesn't, that actually feels safe in the procrastination.
Yeah.
That's another one. So it's either we don't want to experience something or we don't, which in, if we feel safe, then we don't want to feel unsafe.
Right.
If we're used to being a procrastinator, I've known a few that are like chronic,
Mm.
and it's like their default deflection response. It's literally their default programming. And then they don't like it because nothing gets
Right.
done.
Right. And you're
And this
more
is
overwhelmed. It's the
and then they're
cycle.
overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
They kick in.
Even more.
And and so that I think is the awareness, is that the emotional root, and it's going to be specific to each person, which is like
Yeah.
the nature of my work, is to get to the specifics of the person's emotional root and clear it, right? And the bottom
Yeah.
line is that your procrastination is the outside behavior, like everybody can see you're procrastinating, you can feel it,
Yeah.
but then where that root is going to be pretty specific to you.
Hmm.
And so we have to get underneath what is it that you don't wish to experience, because when you did, it was painful, it was uncomfortable, it was,
Hmm.
like you don't want to go there again. And it can just be a matter of it's kind of like I'm I'm inadequate, or I'm a failure. And so you don't want to experience the failure, but notice how you perpetuate it by being procrastinator.
Yeah.
Like, I keep failing. And
Right.
so it's so interesting, right? It's not, it's all, I always say it's illogic. The root is usually illogical to what you're
Yeah.
thinking it is. And everybody wants to just use safe words like, oh, I'm just not good enough. Oh, and
I'm
some of
just
those
too
are
busy.
true. Yeah, it's
I'm
too
just too
easy.
busy to do it. Or I'm too
Yeah,
busy to do
too
something different. Or
busy.
yeah, I've got too much
Yeah.
going on. Or,
It's,
the kids are
mhm.
growing up. I'll declutter when they're older or when they're out of
Yes.
the house or all the
Yes.
stuff.
And that
Yeah.
in itself is another piece of the deflection. Like you
Mhm.
procrastinate, then you blame or judge or call it that. Now it's actually another level of deflection, is to
Ooh.
actually blame the circumstance in front of you. We are the common
Ooh,
denominator of all of it. So if we're going to judge that this is like, oh, it's just not the right time, or it's the circumstance that's holding me back and making me procrastinate, or I
mm,
chose a job that keeps me so busy that I'm like, well, who chose the job in the first place? So a
right.
lot of times procrastination requires radical ownership. It's
Mm,
going back to the beginning that said, I picked the job from 9 to I picked it. I said yes.
right.
Nobody made me.
Yep.
I chose
Nope.
it, right?
Yep.
And then then we can start to like really unpack the pattern and unpack the behaviors that are actually looping. I call it a belief loop, and we get
Mm-hmm.
in the middle, kind of like extract the belief that's driving the behavior, but there is a sense of like, here, oh, I get responsible, and like on a Saturday I feel really good, so I'm going to like clean up a closet, and then the patterns start again, and then it gets unruly, and so you get a dopamine hit, but then you don't actually permanently change the behavior because it's
Mm,
looping back to the same cycle. And somewhere in there is the procrastination as a behavior. Then you get mad at yourself, and then you punish yourself. And then like me, I go eat. Let me go eat chocolate. And then,
mm.
right, there is actually a belief loop pattern that's getting activated by the belief that we do not see. And it's the
Interesting.
belief in the middle that we have to extract and like clear so that the behaviors can actually stop. And
Oh,
so our environment is just another example of that.
huh.
And it's like, it's not the stuff, it's not the kids, it's not the time. Time is such an easy one to use. I'm
Yeah.
like, guys,
Right.
we will find time for the things that we make important.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
true. It's super true. Okay, you hinted at the four archetypes, and I want to talk about that in just a minute, but we're going to take one more quick break and we'll be right back. And then we'll tell you what my result was from the quiz.
Yay!
Okay, welcome back. So before we left, I teased that I was going to tell you my results, and the quiz was fascinating. It was short, it was quick, it was only like 7 questions. So we will definitely link in the show notes to it because I think everyone listening to this should take it because it really does open your eyes to some surprises. Because I thought I would be something else. So can you first walk us through what they are, and then I will say what my
Okay,
results
sure.
were.
Yes. So there's just four that, and again, there's 15 ego tricks, but they all kind of bundle. I created the ego tricks first, and then I noticed that there was like these groupings. So
Mm,
we have the realist, the rebel, the illusionist, and the martyr. And so keep in mind, I always like to preface, this is not who you are. This is what your ego is, right? Like two separate things. And so yes, so when you're the realist, you're very pragmatic, you're like practical, logical, and you're attached to the control and the need and the prepping and the planning and the preparing and the future tripping, like, oh, like this is going to happen, so I'm going to prepare, I'm going to plan 2 months in advance, like, and it feels really normal and like expected of human beings. And I'm like, yes, until you suffer when you don't plan, like when you're in the discomfort and you're like, oh my god, this is unexpected and I'm not prepared and I'm not ready, right? That's the difference between like, I mean, I'm a planner, but I don't plan with attachment, right?
mm,
So the realist, and then the rebel is it's just more defending. It's really the fight, flight, or freeze is kind of like one of each, right? So the fight is the rebel, right? It's like the nervous system is going to like put the defense up, get the armor on, because it's like, oh, I got to protect myself. And so it tends to be a little more reactive, if you want to say, whether it's the anger or like the positional judgment, like,
mm.
push it out, push it away from me. I'm going to blame the circumstances. I'm going to blame the kids, the job, the husband, whatever. So if you can judge and be positional and be right. Oh, this one likes to be right. And then or get angry. And anger can be anything from I'm slightly irritated, like I'm annoyed, to rage, right? Like just the whole spectrum. All
Mhm.
of it is still rebel. And I love when people are like, "Well, I'm just a little annoyed. I'm allowed to be annoyed." And I'm like, "You're still in reaction. There's something underneath that, which is just an opportunity. So it's no judgment. There's still no judgment." So this is not about judging ourselves. Martyr actually is very much about self imploding. Like, it's the I'm sorries, it's the apologizing, it's the people pleasing, it's the it's like the shoulds, like the shoulds. I should be able to. You're shoulding all over yourself all the time, and the guilt, right? Guilt. I just want to say what guilt is. Let's just
Go
because I
for
know
it.
we got mom guilt in the room, and any other guilt is this. If I can feel bad enough, then I don't have to take ownership.
Mm,
If I can feel bad
interesting.
enough about it, guilty, right? They made me feel guilty. Nobody can make you feel guilty. It's actually an ego trick that's generated by you. And so if I can feel bad enough, then I don't have to take ownership. Ownership of what I did. Maybe a mistake or
Mm,
like not I would have done something different, right? What I did, what I have, what I want, right? It's like if I can feel guilty for wanting to be on my own for a day away from the children, right? Or if I can feel, guilty about, um, like doing something I wouldn't have done had I known better, right? And it's okay to apologize for these things, but sorry coming from a place of like, if I apologize, nobody will hate me. Like that's a deflection response. So that's the martyr, and then the illusionist is fear. It's I can't, right? I can't, so I just don't, right? I can't do it. And then you
hmm,
block yourself. And can'ts usually are like your fear of trying, your fear of like, well, what if I do it and then it doesn't work, or any of that. And the key is knowing that. Oh, and confusion. By the way, I want to add that in because, like, I don't
okay.
know. That's sometimes a default answer, and it's usually
Mm.
how we get away from having to feel anything. So the trick is that we use them all, but the quiz is going to give you the predominant and secondary. So yes, I would love to know what yours was.
And here's the thing, going in, if you would have told me those and I'm listening to you, I always considered myself a people pleaser growing up. Nurturer, people pleaser. I always say I'm sorry. My daughter and I had this whole like one summer, we we would like catch each other saying it. So like if I don't like being tickled, so, she would tickle me if I said I'm sorry, like, just as a gut reaction, and I would do something embarrassing, like, I would just start singing even if we were out in
Mm,
public, if she said she was sorry because we tried to, like, do stuff we didn't wanna do. So I would have said that
love
that
that.
was my number 1. It wasn't even in my top 2 out of 4. Wasn't even the top 50%. I'm shocked. It was actually Rebel was 1st and The Illusionist was 2nd,
Interesting. Yeah.
and I was really surprised by that until I sat with it for a minute and thought about it. And I would not consider myself an angry person, but I do
The
that. Like,
irritant.
that's my, yeah, I put those walls up and I just am like, oh, fine. And I just like walk away.
Yeah.
And I just get like, ugh. So it was very eye opening.
I know,
Yes.
right? It's
Yeah.
so good. And I love that. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that you went in, with a little bit of expectation, but also was willing and open to, well, where am I
Yeah.
now? Like, because the truth is, we use them all. We do use them all. And your
Mm-hmm.
people pleasing was, I would imagine, very much conditioned in childhood because it was the one that was the easiest to pull out of the bag.
Ah.
And it might show up in very particular relational situations. But if as a business owner, maybe it's like now, like, oh, well, that's insufficient, so I'm going to use rebel instead. And I love that you said
Uh-huh.
that you'll feel the reaction and then you'll go away.
Mm.
That's part of the loop, like deflection. So
Mm.
the realist, I mean, excuse me, the rebel hits you, like the
Mhm.
circumstances going on, and then the rebel comes in, and it's like you feel it, you feel the reaction, and you don't want to yell. You don't. Maybe you do yell a little bit, or you snap a
Yeah.
little, right?
Yeah.
I can get snappy,
Yeah.
and then I go away because number one, I want to calm myself, but you're still in the reaction internally. Like it doesn't
Mm.
have to be like some blow up. Like maybe you've done that, but it's like the point is that the go away is you're either going to go away and still feel it and not resolve it and then loop right back to the same behavior pattern, or you're going
Mm.
to go away and start to reflect. And this is the 3 seconds that I give people, right? In my
Yeah.
shut up ego is, is like, is pause, like feel the ego trick, right?
Yeah.
Feel the archetype, like, oh, I just went into rebel, and then reflect and ask the right question. For you, the rebel, one of the 3-second rules is to literally breathe. Like, go away and breathe 10 times.
Mm.
Yes, because
Yeah.
you're calming the nervous system that's actually in fight, right? Like, you're
Mm.
actually calming the body instead of going into the head that's about to make all the judgments and all the decisions, and we don't wanna go there. So it's
Oh, wow.
pause, reflect, and then respond newly, right? New choice,
Yeah.
new direction. Even and if my rebel is the second, so I'm a realist, actually the first one, but not to say that and depends on relationships that I'm in. Like my work, I'm more realist. My intimate relationship, which has a lot more at risk, right? My rebel actually would come out a little faster. So I just
Hmm.
wanted to say that it's like the
Interesting.
goal is to understand them all, but certainly to like pinpoint like, oh yeah, this is the one that comes out the fastest. Like this is the one that
Hmm.
I use today. And then I even have trackers. It's like, no, let's like actually track when you're using an ego trick because the awareness is step one, but awareness is insufficient without integration. It's just really expensive hindsight.
Hmm.
Like, it's
Interesting.
costing you, right? Not to
Yeah.
be aware and to integrate. And so I love that you share the Rebel, results, and
Yeah.
it's interesting. And I encourage everybody just take the quiz based on what not necessarily your evolved higher self. I get it. Like, if a lot of people answering the questions are like, "Oh, I don't do that anymore." I'm like, "Okay, go back to the default, like the child within." Like, if you were
Yeah.
to be the ego or the non-best self, right, in this moment, in this hypothetical situation that I put on the question, then answer it, right? Because it's so interesting. What I find is when people come to me and go, these don't apply to me, I actually
Mm.
believe that's the ego itself. So
Yeah.
I've had
That's
over
interesting.
1,500 people take this quiz, and anybody that's answered me actually, once they get to the answer, they're like, "Oh, I do that," right? So there's a lot of accuracy in that, but you gotta be willing to, like, get beyond the ego.
Interesting.
So,
So
thank
interesting.
you.
Yeah, when you're backed in a corner, what do you get? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that.
Hmm.
Exactly. That's the
Yeah.
point.
So interesting. How would you, if you could, quickly, if it's too much, let me know because I'm just kind of thinking of this right now. Like, how would you think about that when people are trying to declutter or get their homes in order? Like, if I
Yes.
were a rebel, what's something like, or all four of them, because obviously not everybody listening to this is going to be a rebel.
Right. Very good. So yeah, let's tie it back to the clutter and the
Yeah.
environment and the space. So a rebel, you're gonna get irritated when you walk in and the kids throw their crap all over the
Ah.
floor.
Okay.
Or,
Yep.
like, "Oh my god, I just cleaned the kitchen."
Yeah. The
And you're
constant
getting
cycle.
irritated and you're
Yeah.
frustrated, and then you take it out on your partner, or you're like, "Why aren't you
Interesting.
helping me?" You know? So, yeah, or you're just getting, kind of frustrated at the situation. Ultimately, that frustration is not about them. It's not about them helping or not helping, but the rebel wants to, like, grab on to, like, and you're not wanting to experience something in you. So you created your environment just as much as maybe the kids and the partner, but it's
Yep.
it's so something in you is like, I'm so frustrated. So it's not actually the stuff. It's the I
Mm-hmm.
can't get to it. I'm procrastinating. I should be able to do
Yeah.
this. I should have enough time. It's whatever's getting deflected from. So
As
that's
a
the rebel.
rebel,
The
can I also
realist.
say that your stuff doesn't bother you as much as everyone else's?
That's probably true. Yeah. Have you ever had the husband that's like, I don't know why
But
you're getting upset?
yeah,
Like,
I
and
mean,
then you're like,
he
oh my God,
doesn't, but I know. But yes, I know
yes, like,
that. Mhm.
I'm like, "Did you just gaslight me?" That's a whole
But I
nother
can
thing.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Keep going.
Then the illusionist, right?
Yeah.
The fear, the can'ts, like, "I can't get this
Mm.
done. I don't have enough time. I can't do it." Right? Or, something of that nature where there's a very heavy limitation. So the
Mhm.
illusionist is gonna show up, and then you just feel like you're like brick wall, brick wall, brick wall, and you just can't break through.
Mm.
So gonna happen. And whether you're trying to clean up and stay clean and stay organized, or whatever it is, and it's like I can't do it, right? Or it's like, or even, and then the fear and the worry of like, oh my god, what am I doing to create this environment for my children? Or like we could go into like deeper things. The martyr is literally going to like, I'm such a failure, I can't believe I'm so bad at this. You'll beat yourself up. You'll literally mentally
Interesting.
go inward. It's very much internalized. And then you start to adopt it as your identity. So martyr is very much like a reflection of what your identity is. Like all of this is identity work,
Hmm.
but the martyr's gonna like go like they're not going to blame the person in front of them, they're going to blame themselves. So
Okay.
martyring, guilt, oh my gosh, I feel so bad, I can't do this, I'm so sorry I haven't been able to get to the clutter or whatever it is. And then which one? Realist. The
Realist.
real Yeah, the realist is going to be, it's almost like, how do I fix this? How do I fix
Mm.
this? And then it may actually back it up with another like rebel or something like that, which is me, is because I'm trying to fix this, but I can't, and then I get frustrated. So the realist is going to come up with a plan, and it's going to be trying to like organize, and then, and it's this, and oh, and here, let me add this in. I didn't even, we hadn't talked about this, is I used OCD.
Mm.
OCD is a coping mechanism, like, right? Like I had to have it neat. I had to have control. So the realist is going to go into control and needs and requirements. And so
Mm.
the requirement is part of the process too. And it's again another part of the ego that's like, oh my gosh, if my space is disheveled, I'm not safe. So yeah, so I started the beginning of my life with a lot of OCD behavior because I was out of control and not like able to control my environment
Yeah.
in my childhood, and the
Right.
moving and the domestic violence and the like all of the things that I was dealing with.
Yeah.
And I went to my space. I was trying to control
Yeah.
my space. And it worked. It worked for a while. It looks good on paper, but after a while I was like, my gosh, I'm attached. I am literally
Mm.
using a coping mechanism, and it's very painful underneath it all. Like, so I'm a recovering neat freak, but I live by choice to be neat
Yeah.
and minimal. And
Right.
because what I have learned now versus that behavior is that everything has energy, as we started this call with. And therefore, when there's too many things, I actually can feel the energy of I can feel energy of
Mhm.
people, I can feel energy of stuff. It's like if I go to a concert, I actually feel drunk afterwards. So
Hmm.
I actually pick up
Interesting.
the energy of things and people and stuff. So I have to kind of protect my energy field from it. Which
Makes
is just
sense.
a intention and a choice, but I do choose now to have a preference. So it's like it's the difference, ego to essence, the difference is if you're coming from ego, you have to have it a certain
Mm.
way. You need it a certain way in order to feel safe. If you're coming from reference, it's just preference. You're choosing.
Huh.
And if it isn't, then you're not like losing it. you're not
Right.
you're not
Right.
going into rebel realist or any of the others. And so I just encourage people, like, you might be in the other extreme. Like you could
Yeah.
be the OCD coping mechanism like I was, or you could be the hoarding mechanism. It's
Uh-huh.
all the same spectrum. It's all ego. And so my
Right.
job, my work in the world is to just get people less ego, more essence, more higher self, more truth, right? The truth of who you are, the power that you have, the creator that you are, instead of defaulting to the separation of the egoic self that wants to keep us in the small self, the false self, the child. I always call the ego, if you look at it, like a 5-year-old toddler.
Hmm.
That's how old it is, right? It's like the consciousness of an egoic self, the separation is so young, right? It's so immature. It's not, and we just do basic things that a 5-year-old would do. Look at the tantrums we throw, or the upsets we have, or the frustrations, or the limitations. The 5-year-old can't see beyond what is in front of them. Our higher self and our adult self, we know the world is a unlimited possibility. And when I can help you liberate yourself, I have done my job.
Yeah. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
Jenna, this has been a lovely conversation. Like I said, we'll link to the quiz in the show notes, but tell people where
Yes.
they can find you.
Yes, so, definitely, jenaloren.com is, home base, JenaLoren, and then I'm on Instagram, I'm on the socials, and then, yes, you have the link, directly to the quiz, but you can also find it right there on my home screen of the website too, so, yeah, that's probably the best way to just kinda get in my world, and Instagram is kinda my primary thing right now. I'm playing around with like TikTok and I'm on Facebook, all the things. But yeah, come say hi. I would love to connect and know the difference this has made for someone.
That'd be wonderful. Well, my favorite way to end every conversation is with three rapid fire questions. So you're not out of here just yet.
Okay, cool. I love
but
rapid.
but number one is, what does clutter free mean to you?
Yes. Oh, okay. Clutter free means freedom. It really is a sense of, it's not necessarily about the stuff. It's more about how I feel in my energy and my body and my environment. So being free to move and choose and navigate, and I think, when I'm clutter free, I feel a sense of freedom and liberation, and like that's what I experience. So that's my choice. Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Number two, what is making you happy right now or in this season of life?
My season of life, my nomadic self is another level of freedom. It's just, what's interesting is my realist always planning is being able to have every possibility in front of me and start to feel safe in that possibility. Because talk about overwhelm. Like, it's like, oh, I could go move anywhere. Like, that's how
Yeah.
much freedom I have. You've been
Yep.
there, right?
Yep.
And it's like, wow, that's an interesting place to be. And not all of us have that experience, but if you can grab even an ounce of that and experience that season of your life where you really can choose anything and know that you actually can now, and not let the limitations of what you think is in front of you, that's the season I'm in, is exploring more of who I am and more of what's possible.
Yeah. I think more of us have that freedom than we think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yep.
It's
And
all up
number
there.
right? It is all,
Perspective.
yeah, you're holding yourself back. And
Yeah.
and it's all a choice, right? And that's okay. You can choose what you want, but don't say, I don't have the choice. You have the choice.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We're getting we're
100%.
getting out of rapid fire territory, but let's keep going. Number three, the last one. What's one small 3-second shift someone listening could implement today that would help them feel more grounded and more connected to the version of
Mhm.
themselves that they're becoming, or the vision of themselves that they're becoming?
Yeah, my 3-second rule, right? Pause, reflect, respond. And so, especially in your space, just pick something up
Ooh,
and pause and look at it and feel into, like, and ask the right question. Like, is this actually aligned with my future version, highest version that I'm moving into, not the one that I have been. And so that in itself is just like one thing at a time. It's like, because everything starts to go unconscious. It's like, how many things are in our cabinets and our drawers that we don't even see or look at, and that yet they still have energy. And so I'm like, take one drawer today and just look at the things and actually consciously pay attention and go, do I need all this stuff? Right? Is this my new version? Is this going into the future self with me? Right? And like that kind of thing. So pause, reflect, ask a new question, and then respond to that. So yes, 3 seconds.
love that. Oh, that is so powerful. What a
Eh,
lovely way to end this conversation. Thank you so much, Jenna. Have a lovely day.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
You too. So, what do you think of our conversation today? I love how Jenna was able to break down the ways that our egos keep us stuck in a loop that we don't actually want to be living in, right? And all we need really is 3 seconds to break those old habits. How powerful is that? We can use this information to make better choices, either at home, at work, in our relationships, or within ourselves, which is really the most important place we live. And I was really shocked at those quiz results. So I recommend you take it too, because it's going to help you see where your ego is keeping you stuck. And that awareness has made a big difference for me, even in just the few days since I took the quiz. It's just an eye opening experience and lets you see a little bit more into yourself. A huge thank you to Jena Lorén for joining me today and sharing her wisdom. You will find links to connect with her in the show notes, and more information about her can be found on my website at wannabeclutterfree.com/287. And of course, thank you to you for tuning in. I'm so grateful that you choose to spend part of your week here with me. And if this episode resonated with you, well, please follow the show and leave a rating or a review. It really helps others find us and keeps the community growing. And thanks again for making this show part of your weekly routine. I will see you next week. But until then, take a deep breath. Think about how you're getting in your own way, and remember that you are more powerful than your ego. So go ahead and start living in alignment. I believe in you, and I know you can do anything you put your mind to. I'm Deanna Yates, and you've been listening to Wanna Be Clutter-Free. I'll see you next week. Cheers.